Hi, this is still Sir David. I haven't gotten out of my chair for almost a year, but one of these days I'll get out and walk downstairs. Oh, I'm in a basement apartment. I meant upstairs to the Danites. You know, I've been looking at this movie, The District, that the Mormon Church has produced for itself, by itself, within itself, that has absolutely no interest to the outside world whatsoever. I do want to say this. I don't like bullies. I never have. Never have. And I'm a little fanatical on that. When people are helpless, or people are underage, or people are forced to do something they don't want to do, I have an aversion to that. Now, here's what I don't like about this district training program. Now they're calling it a reality show. Reality show my ass! These are 8 missionaries, 2 are female and 6 are male, and they're in San Diego, California. I was in San Diego about 3 months ago. It's warm in San Diego. It has bitchin' beaches. It has a lot of illegals running across the border with marijuana on their backs, but I just ignored that shit. I go, hey, the Americans want to smoke marijuana. You know, they're causing that war down there. Anyway, I've been in San Diego. I've been at the beach in San Diego. San Diego has one of the most wonderful climates in the world. In the world. It has, I'm trying to think, is it 5 that goes all the way into Tijuana, or is it 405? I can't remember. I think it's 5 that goes all the way into Tijuana, across the border there. Anyway, when the Mormon Church puts this kind of trash out to try to convert other missionaries to go on missions, they're desperate. They're desperate. Their young people are going, holy shit, I'm not going to go out there and knock on doors in the Philippines. I don't believe Mormonism that much. I don't speak Tagalog or Visayan. I don't want that. I don't want to sit in the mission home there and learn a language in 3 weeks and then go out and I can't even ask where the bathroom is. Here's what I have a problem with. When the Mormon Church chooses white and delightsome missionaries, cute sister missionaries, in San Diego, California, to put together what a real mission is like, it's bullshit. It's a lie. It's deceptive. Look up those words in the dictionary and you'll see the Mormon Salt Lake Temple right beside it. What the hell do these people think we're that stupid? Now, I have a wife, a current one. I have a previous wife who was a missionary in Anaheim, California. That's where Disneyland is. When you go to Ecuador, the Philippines, Brazil, there's no damn Disneyland. Now this wife, her name was Jeannie, and she finished her mission there honorably in Anaheim, California. And Jeannie said one of the most important things to me I've ever heard about missionaries. She said, Sir David, that's what she used to call me. It was Lord David and King David when I was a member. Anyway, she said, you know, when people are getting divorced or they've just lost somebody to death or they're having crisis in their life, they are golden opportunities for us to missionary and to train and bring them into church. Well, what the hell does that say? Desperate people do desperate things. Become a Mormon. Now, my other little wife, my current wife, sweet as hell, I love her to death. I am so dependent upon her. I don't know. You know, she's so tiny. She's only 104 pounds and about 5 feet tall. And when I prayed to the Lord, when I was on the single websites for the LDS people to meet each other, I said, Dear Jesus, I'd love to have a little mercy on me. Please help me find somebody. Her name is Mercy. And the Lord, your Lord, not mine anymore, but your Lord, answered my prayer. He gave me a little mercy. So, anyway, she was a return missionary and currently is a return missionary. Well, her mission was in the damn Philippines. Now, I never traveled. I'm not trying to put myself up as some type of a travel expert. I've been to Tijuana, I've been to Canada, I've been to Ensenada, and I've been to the Philippines. And I'm not going to say that because I'll go to jail. So, I know a little bit about the Philippines. When I went there, I had to live there almost a year to adopt my children. They have very, very strict adoption laws in the Philippines, much stricter than the United States, much, much more stricter, more expensive, more checkouts, more psychiatrists, more judges, more social workers. Oh, it went on and on and on. So I know a little bit about the Philippines, okay? I was in Mindanao, in Butuan, and that's kind of the armpit of Mindanao Island, but it's not the worst. It's not the worst. No one has a car. No one has a car. There's 10,000 tricycles. No, not the ones that the little kids ride. It's a motorcycle designed to carry 12 people. Has an engine on it that's almost 55, 60 years old. Doesn't even have an electric starter on it. They still use a rope, pull cord. Now let me tell you the difference between going on a mission to Disneyland or to San Diego and the Philippines. Now, some of this is just out of my mind. I didn't go on a mission, so if you need someone who's been on a mission, go ask somebody that's been in the Philippines. Okay, first of all, there's no mail in the Philippines. You send a letter to the Philippines, it takes 3 to 6 months. And if it's from America, it's always opened. Always opened by their postal department, and they throw it away or they steal the money out of it or both. So there's no postal service, okay? There's no damn phone service in the Philippines. Yeah, we had a phone in our house. The son of a bitch worked about 7% of the time. The rest of the time it didn't work at all. And most houses had no phones at all. Many houses had no electricity at all. Most houses, 85, 90% of all the houses had no flush toilet. Now they have flush toilets in San Diego and in Anaheim. Go where my wife went on a mission. Shacks. Caribou shit everywhere. Pigs on the front porch of the investigator's house. Investigators have a 2nd or 3rd grade education. They can't read. They can't write. And they have no resources whatsoever. Tell them to read a Book of Mormon at night. Well, they don't have a light. There are 7,000 dialects. Wait a minute, I'm mixed up. There's 7,000 islands in the Philippines. Most of them have different dialects. Tagalog is their main language. English is their main language in the government. But my wife had to go to many, many people that she didn't even understand their language, and she was bilingual. She speaks Tagalog and Visayan. No toilets. Pigs on the front steps. Now in San Diego and Anaheim, I don't think you can put a pig on your front porch. Try putting a caribou tied up to your front tree and letting it shit for hours or days or years on your front lawn. And you know, in America, naked children out in the front yard, you know, it happens. We've all had kids that run out sometimes. But when they live naked in the front yard, they don't do that in Anaheim. And they don't do that in San Diego. Now, when I went to the Philippines, golly, I was an ordinary person. I had all of my shots for the United States. But I didn't have the other 7 shots that I needed to go to the Philippines. I didn't have a mosquito net over me because of malaria everywhere. I drank the water once. Once. I didn't know what projectile diarrhea was. For 2 days I thought I was going to shoot into space. I think you can drink the water in Anaheim and in San Diego. And I don't think you have to have any extra shots for fungus and for snake bite and for other tropical diseases that can kill you. Now, the missionaries, many of them, some of them still, many times in the past, they had cars with damn air conditioning in it and windshield wipers that worked. Let me tell you something about the Philippines. It rains every 20 minutes. Every 20 minutes. There's not a dirt road. It's called a mud road. And if you're a missionary, you walk in that mud and blood and I can't say F, beer road. You're soaking wet. Now, the missionaries in Anaheim can walk into a mall or a library and it's air conditioned. I saw one air conditioner in the mall in Butuan, Gazanos, and it worked some of the time. And in the morning, you couldn't go in the mall because it was a cloud. You could hardly see through it, maybe 3 feet. They shot a cloud of pesticide in a modern mall to kill the bugs, the mosquitoes, the rats. When I gave a lecture to the teachers in Butuan, I was invited there, and I'm standing at the damn podium, and I'm looking over at the wall, and there's rats running along the wall. I didn't see any rats at Disneyland. And when I was in San Diego, I didn't see any rats either. I just looked at the crowd, and I said, hey, do you guys see those rats? And they go, that was enough for me. I just went on with the presentation. After the presentation, I took Allison over to the cantina, I think they call it there, the snack bar. And we're looking around. There's some cookies out in the open and some brownies and some kinds of little things that kids can buy. And I see these mice jumping up and down like they're in a marching band. And they're waving. And I'm going, you son of a bitches, get off that food. And I said to the young girl there, I said, did you know you had mice in here on the food? And she goes, yeah, they're okay. They don't eat too much. I said, neither do I. I think I'm going to pass on this one. When I went to the Philippines, I had bypass surgery. I hadn't had quad yet. I'd had stents, 5 stents put in. And my doctor and the Filipino people who were in the know, the doctors there, they said, David, if you go to the damn Philippines and you have heart trouble or problems, you'll have to fly to Manila. It's about an hour and a half, 2-hour flight. And when you get there, you'll find out there's no hospitals there that can handle cardiac. They don't exist. There's a law in the Philippines, just like other third world countries. No American doctors are allowed to practice there. Every doctor has to be a Filipino. That was scary. Had to be trained. No, they didn't have to be trained in the Philippines. They just had to be Filipino citizenship. I had to be fly to Hawaii if I had any heart problems. And I think that was 7 or 8 hours. I can't remember. I swam it once in 3, but flying it, I think it's 7 or 8 hours. Anyway, in Anaheim and in Disneyland and San Diego, I saw hospitals there. They can do open heart surgery. They can do heart bypass, maybe heart transplant. In the Philippines, how do you stay in contact as a missionary with anybody? There's no damn telephones. Your mission president, he might as well be dead. He might as well be dead. How do you stay in contact with a doctor or if you're taking medications? Let me tell you something about the Philippines. You don't need a doctor to get medications. You just go to the pharmacy. Say, give me some heroin. I want some meth. I want, some morphine. They just give it to you. So you're wet all the time in the Philippines. Now let me tell you something else about the damn heat. I was raised in California. I live in Utah. No, I live in Missouri, Dan. I live in the Missouri area by the Garden of Eden there, Adirondack Island. I can see it right up my window from the basement here. I was never so uncomfortable in my damn life. And I thought it would go away at night. It doesn't. If it's 97 in the daytime, it might drop to 96 at night. And you lay there in the jungle. There's no lights. I was in Carlsbad Caverns once. They turned the lights off. Now that's dark. That's dark. And I'm telling you, in the Philippines, you can't walk anywhere at night. There's jungle everywhere. There's snakes everywhere. Coconuts falling off the tree and hitting you on the damn head. It's pitch black. And all you hear is like at Disneyland when you're on the Pirates of the Caribbean. You hear all these animals calling out and birds and snakes hissing. But it isn't a... I can't say that word. It isn't a ride. Damn, it's real life. There's everything walking the jungle. And you're cuddled in a little tiny shack made of cardboard and or maybe plywood. When I got married, my wife and I were in the house there that is in the Philippines, and I was laying there at night, and I kept hearing this noise. And I finally turned to her and I said, "Damn, Mercy, what the hell is that noise?" And she said, Oh, it's just the rats in the ceiling. They won't come through. My dad plugged most of those holes. I slept with both eyes open. Rats in the house. Then I went outside. They have windows. There's no glass because there's no reason to have glass. You're in a jungle. It's like being in hell. You know, you're burning all the time. So I go and sit down at the table to have breakfast, and I took my own cooking and my own food. I didn't eat any more Filipino food or water. And I look over on the windowsill, and here is this iguana. An iguana in the house on the windowsill. I said, "Mercy, what the hell? What are you doing with an iguana? Is that a pet?" "No," she says, "it just comes in now and then." I said, "Well, it's time to go out now and then. Get that iguana out of here." So, you know, I'm not the man to chase it with a broom. I don't know what iguanas do. When you hit them with a broom, I'll chase out dogs and cats, but damn, no dinosaurs, big or little, do I hit with brooms. So that night, next day, we're all sitting at the table, and her family's there, which I love. I love her mom, and her dad is probably with, and I've said this before in my videos, he is the most quality human being I've ever met. Unbelievable man. So we're all sitting there, and her mother cooks me chicken. Now, I'll eat chicken because it's fried. And, you know, the diarrhea and the constipation and everything else you get is gone. So I'm eating my chicken and sitting there. The family's all sitting around me. And suddenly, a giant lizard falls off the ceiling onto the table. Now, the rest of them were calm. I'm an American. I shot out of that chair like Jesus had just come. God. And they go, "What are you afraid of?" I said, "I'm afraid of a giant lizard on my table that I'm eating on." And the grandma just took her hand like a fly and swatted it off on the floor, and it ran out of the house. Holes in the house everywhere. So I'm sitting with the father that night, and I said, Tata, that's what they call him, Tata. And I said, "I see that picture of Jesus there up on your wall." And he said, "Yes." They're Mormons. They're Mormons. And I said, "Well, where do you buy a picture of Jesus with no ear? I've never seen a picture produced that you could put on the wall and Jesus has no ear." He said, "Oh, the mice ate that off." I'm in hell. I'm in human hell. Now, I was in a civilized area. We had electricity in that house. We didn't have a flush toilet, but we did have electricity. You go anywhere out and out of the other islands other than Cebu and up around Manila and whatever, you're not going to see electricity hardly anywhere. So, I'm telling you my experience in the Philippines. My own eyes, my own ears. It's hell. A lot of missionaries come home with tropical diseases, and some of them are not recoverable. You carry that disease with you the rest of your life. You talk to people with no education. You talk to people who are in the rice fields, which are a foot and a half, 2 feet of water, and you're stepping in the caribou shit to try to get to a convert. And the converts, they don't know anything about religion. They never heard of Jesus. They never heard of flush toilets. They never heard of anything. And you go home at night, I'm sure, my wife and her companions, and they had to eat a handful of rice and 2 dead fish for supper. You can't even buy that at McDonald's down in San Diego. You can't buy that at Disneyland. There's no such thing as a fish that's been dead for a year that is sold in the United States. Don't tell me the Mormons are not skewing, lying, that this is a real missionary film. Bullshit. Bullshit. My brother went on a mission in the United States to Missouri. That was a living hell out there too. But they picked the cream of the crop area. Now let me tell you, I'm telling you about the heat. You're in the damn jungle. I've never been in the jungle. And they couldn't afford to run the fan. We had one old fan. It was about 150 years old. I said, I'll pay for it. It's 80 cents a month. I can handle it. Put the damn fan on me, and I wore it like a hat walking around the house. And they said, well, that's going to cost a lot of money. I said, yeah, 14 cents. I can handle it. No air conditioning. No, nowhere. No air conditioning. You go out to some of those islands, I'm telling you, you'll never see air. They've never seen air conditioning. My two girls, when I adopted them, we were thinking of buying a car in the Philippines. And we took one for a test drive, and we brought it over, and I said to my little ones, I said, get in. They'd never been in a car. They didn't even know where the doors were to open the damn car. They didn't know where to sit on the seat, and neither did Grandpa. He's 65 years old. He had no damn idea how to get into a car. I think in San Diego and in Anaheim, you can get into a car. And most people know. The chapels suck in the Philippines. They mostly don't have air conditioning. Now, the Stake Center in Butuan, we had a couple of room air conditioners. And they wouldn't run them because of the cost. They wouldn't run them because of the cost. But if I was there as an American, they turned them on like, hey, we have air conditioning here. Yeah. And the switch, you could fingerprint it. It only had one finger on it that day when I was in the Philippines. Hot ain't even the word for it. I laid in bed with no sheet on and that damn fan blowing over me for almost a year. And when you ride a tricycle, if you can find one, or you ride a jeepney, the dust is worse than the Dust Bowl in Oklahoma. Everyone has my prop. They ride around like this. They can't breathe. There's a dust storm everywhere. All over you. New clothes, clean clothes, forget it. Ain't going to happen. You know, I picked my little one up one day with my wife from her public school before I put her in private school. And she had to go to the bathroom. Well, in the public school, they're not going to let her go to the bathroom. Now, I don't mean all day. I meant we were walking away from it. So my wife says, and Allison was, I don't know, maybe 4, maybe 5. And my wife says, well, Allison, just go pee-pee on the curb. I think there was 10,000 people around us. And I looked at my wife and I said, my girls aren't going to pee in public on a curb. She says, well, there's nowhere else. I said, well, can't we go to a store? No, they don't have toilets or they won't let you use them. I said, what? So I found a Dunkin' Donuts. Now, there's an American business. And I walked in, and you know me. You don't want to know me more than you do. And I said, where's the toilet? They go, oh, no one can use it. I said, I'm an American. Where's the toilet? Oh, back here, back here. So I took the baby back there and let her go to the bathroom. Hot is not even the word for it. You're sweating like a pig day and night. No fans, no air conditioning. Now, how about washing your clothes? Missionaries? I guess if you're in Anaheim or you're in San Diego, maybe you could go to a coin laundromat. Or if you're living with a family, just put it in their washer and dryer. No such thing in the Philippines. No such thing. You wash your clothes by hand. There's no machines to wash. You get a bucket of water, you put soap in it, and you rub it, and then you rinse it off with that filthy water that nobody can drink. It's full of every bacteria in the world. You wring it out, and then you hang it up on the line. Every 20 minutes, you run back out because it's raining, and you pull the clothes off the line, you wait till the rain's done, and then you put them back on the line, and you do that all day long. Now, when we got to the Mercy to the United States here, we have an electric stove. And she'd never seen. She'd never seen an oven, and she never saw an electric stove. And she was, amazed. Because the night I left the Philippines, my children's biological mom was building a little bonfire, like she was camping, out in the front yard, and it had a pot hanging on it with their supper in it. They're not used to a stove. They're not used. I had to buy bottled water. People came from miles to borrow my bottled water in the Philippines. No bathtubs, no showers. You dip. So you missionaries that are going on a mission for the Mormon church, find out what dipping is. And it ain't jumping in the pool. That ain't dipping. You girls that are going, see if you can find a tampon or a Kotex in the Philippines. Have fun. I think you can find them in Anaheim and probably San Diego. So, I don't want to belabor this. I just want to say, God, when are people going to tell the truth? When are the Mormons going to present both sides of the story fairly? Their history, their doctrines, their policies. And let us as Americans use our head. They're counting on us being divorced, being blind, deaf, and dumb, and we'll join their church because we're desperate. We're not desperate. We'll join it if it has something to offer. If it doesn't, most people are going to say, now see, I can't say that word again, you, F you. That's what they're going to say. We are not interested in your church and its magic underwear and voodoo this and pin dolls and whatever. So damn it, Mormon church, whoever's monitoring me, get that district off. That is not a real training film. That is a propaganda film. And now that you've got boys coming out of high school at 18, they're still pretty impressionable. They've never been anywhere, they've never done anything, and they're high school boys. And when you show them that movie, you are sabotaging their life. You're not giving them a chance to make an informed decision. Let them see this video about the mission my little wife served in the Philippines for the Mormon Church, and I admire her for that. I'm not a member. I've resigned. I was a member for 50 years, as most of you know. But you know what? Anaheim and San Diego are not typical places that people serve missions. I'm proud of my wife that she was able to put up with that crap for the Mormon Church. And I always will be. Thanks.